All right, race fans, it is race day, Friday night at MonticelloMotorClub. We were last here 2 weeks ago, and we're back for some ND2 racing excitement. The cars are already gridded up. The cars are already on the track. I believe the lights are out on the pace car, and we are about to go green. Your pole sitter, Eric Paterno, being chased down by the current club champion, Johnny Kaminsky, an ND2 ace that we've added to the field just for a little extra spice tonight. We've got a bigger field tonight as well. You've got Alex Blaker out there. You've got Mike Leo, Owen Barthelms. You've got Melissa Barthelms with the fantastic Barthelms livery. You've got, who else we got? We got Ivan Brightly out there. We've got a dense field. And I tell you, they are getting it warmed up right now. We still have the lights are still on the pace car. So we're not formed up. But the most exciting thing about this race, as far as I'm concerned, is my guest commentators in the booth. We've got MMC lead instructor and just all-around ace driver Brian Hedian, and ND2 ace in his own right, Massimo Risi. They're going to be weighing in with their in-depth and expert insights. In fact, Brian Hedian, how excited are you to be watching this race on a Friday night here on Labor Day weekend?
First of all, I gotta say thank you for that warm welcome. I am very excited because I don't really get to sit in the booth with you and get to do this. So this is actually kind of a cool thing. Usually I have a headset on and we're calling the race, but at this point we're doing it a little bit differently. What's funny is I am working with the other guest that we have. We are working together, but he's running in the race tomorrow, so that gave me some free time, and it gave us time actually to get out here and inspect and call the race, because honestly. It is a good race because dear to my heart has always been an ND2. I personally drive a Honda S2000, which is a very similar chassis. So in my eyes, this is something that I relate to very much. And because they're so evenly matched, it just makes it some really close racing. I do want to introduce one more time, like Derek did, Massimo Risi. He was somebody that I worked with when he was a lot younger. He's been coming here since the pandemic varsity days, if you will. And those who know. Only those who know. But with that being said, I'm gonna get Massimo on here and have him introduce himself.
What's going on, guys? Definitely excited to be here in the booth. We got one heck of a lineup here. Definitely very upset that I'm missing this race. Unfortunately, the car wasn't available for me today, but I think that this race will be just as fun to watch as it would be to participate in. I think the added bombshell of Johnny Kaminsky being in that grid is going to be just enough to almost to scare everyone into shape. Everyone's got to bring their A game. When you got Johnny Kaminsky behind you, you got to bring your A game. From someone who spent a lot of time behind him, from someone who spent a lot of time in the race with him, it is a lot. Really excited to get going here. It looks like we're about to come on to into the cryptos, and then once we get onto that north straight, usually that's when the pace car lights will shut out, and you'll see them get packed up and paired up.
Awesome. Yeah, if you've watched any member class racing, if you know, like Brian said, if you know, these kids in the R4 class, it was between Avery Kiola and Johnny Kaminsky and Brian Kaminsky and Massimo Risi, it has been an exciting few years watching these kids race and come up through the ranks, from teen camp all the way to the top step of the podium. And now Massimo joined us in the booth with his expert insight, watching one of his buddies right here on the outside front row. And as the lights go out on the pace car, we're rounding Old Turn 1, coming up to our world-class karting facility. Let's run through the field one more time. We've got Eric Paterno, the Swifty Swiss, the current points leader. I'm not sure. He's actually in second for the points, I think, right now in the ND2 class. Outside front row is Johnny Kaminsky. And second row, out of nowhere, Owen Barthelms, putting that black and gold car up towards the front. Outside second row is Alex Blaker. Third row is Todd Ratura, followed by Mike Leo. Then you have the better Barthelms, Melissa Barthelms, in row 4 with Ivan Brightly outside. Row 9 is Raphael, and on the outside of the last row, 5th row, Mark Domas. So, lights are out. Field is stacked. They're headed to the bridge. We're about to see Morgan in the starter stand doing expert. Look at that little bit of contact. Alex Blaker and Owen Barthelm's kind of mixing it up before the start. And there's the green from Morgan. We are green flag racing 3 wide into Montreal.
Basically almost going 4 wide there. It's very interesting that Paterno chose to be on the outside there. It's usually in your favor to be on the inside. So as you see here, Johnny Kaminsky on the inside. Ooh, Owen Barthelm gets a little wiggle but keeps it on the track. Melissa tries to avoid it and gets right through. Looks like she's just clear of Davies, but it's going to be interesting. So back to the field in the front. Johnny Kaminsky is putting up a battle here. From P2 is working his way back to P1, and let's see if he can make it stick. So as we know in this particular corner, as quickly as the door opens, it closes as you're coming into Pine Tree. It looks like Johnny's just about clear. There, on the outs, Paterno going the long way around, and that's always a tricky one.
What we call the Mike Leo line.
That is.
Paterno trying the Mike Leo line there and gave up the spot to Johnny in Pine Tree. Johnny eating a lot of curb in Pine Tree as well as Hanger, and we've got ourselves a drag race on the backstretch. Paterno with some horsepower there, though. Look at him pull. He gets the little toe and uses that to not pull away, but get a little nose in front of Johnny there as we go 4. Man, you've got Alex Blaker looking racy. 3 wide into the braking zone. What do you think, Massimo?
This is unbelievable. I mean, from the start, I wonder. I don't know who's going to come out in first here, coming out of switchback. Let's see what it looks like as they come around. Looks like Johnny kept it in front. Paterno, and then Blaker looks like Owen came around the outside. Is that Owen? No, that's Mike Leo who
Alex Blaker and Mike Leo make the
charged past Paterno. Wow.
Yeah, I tell you what. Before we even took the green, Alex Blaker has been looking racy. He's banging doorknobs with Owen Barthelm's, and now he's in second place.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of the drivers are starting to get used to the chassis. To the advantage of Johnny, he has driven this car before. Unfortunately for Johnny, though, the car isn't set up the way he wanted to, as this was literally a game time decision for him to even race. So it's pretty cool to see him up front, per expected. Alex Blaker takes a hard dive inside, closes the gap there, but let's see who gets a better run off the exit.
I tell you what, man, Paterno in 4th place right now. Really unfamiliar territory for Swifty Swiss back there, but Johnny Kaminsky's going to cross the line in first place with 1 lap in the books. Alex Blaker moving from 3rd up to 2nd and looking very quick. And Mike Leo bringing his A game. It looks like Mike Leo getting some coaching from Ren Messenger, doing things not the hard way, and it's working out for him. Mike Leo moving up through the field as well. And Eric Paterno dropping back to 4th from the pole. That is something he is not going to be happy about.
So what's going to be interesting here is to see if the drivers can actually figure out a way to work together. It's important right now if you're in the top 4 cars that you want to kind of keep in your line. If you're running similar lap times, you know that by the time you get to the straightaway, you're going to still be there. So it's important, and it's important that Todd here really works his way back to the pack, because it's very easy for those 4 cars to really pull away. As we know, Hanger Straight, leading to Switchback, is one of the longest straights here. It used to be where we used to land planes. So as you can see right now, Johnny's coming into Hanger, get a good run off the exit, and let's see if he defends or if he takes. He's going on the defensive line here.
Massimo, you've been in this exact position, a 4-car pack like this, back when you were running with Avery and Brian and Johnny. What do you suggest? I mean, you see Mike Leo getting right up in that toe. Who do you think's got the advantage here?
I think that if Mike can, oh wow, so yeah, Mike is going to use Alex Blaker to push right past Johnny. That's exactly what you want to do, because in these kind of cars, if you can get a run on the back straight, it's not always the best opportunity to pass, because you wind up slowing yourself down and allowing the rest of that 4-car pack to come up next to you. So by using another car and trying to just make it a 2-car battle instead of a 4-car battle, that can play to your advantage a lot more. But Johnny, of course, waves it off, knowing that he had the inside line anyway. All he's got to do is just charge it up the hill, and all danger avoided for now.
I'll tell you though, just like Brian said, you just saw right there, excellent guys working together. Blaker and Leo working together to team up on Johnny, and they made a huge run, and you can believe me, they're going to try that move again. Johnny was able to hold the line because he had the better position in the braking zone, but I'll tell you, those 3 cars behind Johnny are going to figure something out. Johnny's going to have his hands full for the rest of this race.
And I got to say, I like Eric Paterno's strategy right now. He's kind of taking a page out of my book. Something that I like to do is letting these cars battle it out, because all you have to do is just wait for someone to push someone off, someone to have a moment coming out of one of the corners. Johnny's already coming into a defensive line, so already some of these drivers are compromising themselves. So all that Paterno's got to do is just wait for someone to make a mistake and then capitalize on that. Oh, no.
Oh, Melissa Barthelms in the coolest car on the grid, the Jinx car, just coming through the hairpin. She is not having the race that she was looking for. You can see our live telemetry down in the corner, that number 13 coming around Old Turn 1. We're just hoping Melissa gets gathered up and gets back in the race here real soon. Meanwhile, Alex Blaker all over, just painting the bumper of that Kaminsky car as they head up into the carousel. This 4-car pack at the front. Where's Todd Ratura at? Is Todd Ratura rejoining him? Ratura's trying to get contact. He's working on it. Leo looking outside. This is a race in the front 4.
No, the top 4 drivers are it's incredible. But I will say for Melissa, you gotta stay in it, because you never know what could happen. There could be a safety car, there could be something really stupid that's on the track where it causes the car to come out, and all of a sudden you're back in this race. So I think that's something that us as coaches, we like to really engrave into our guests, is that even though things are not going the right way, you got to put your head down and just focus one corner at a time and put the emotion away. With that being said, in emotions, we've got Alex Blaker on the outside of switchback trying to make a move, trying to pull the Mike Leo here.
Yeah, I think Mike Leo's got this.
And what's super exciting is that the camera, once it goes to the back straight, it gives you a little pause. There's an inch of suspense here. And it looks like Johnny kept the lead. And honestly, right now, it's a matter of who can be consistent. And if I'm Johnny, I'm just putting my head down and putting laps down.
Let me tell you what, race fans, we could have a camera over at the switchback. We made an executive producer decision. We like to have that pause. We give you a little bit of time, a little bit of, we want some mystery. We want you thinking about what's going to happen. But Mike Leo, strangely enough, took an inside line there, and Alex Blaker took the Leo line on the outside, but Johnny was able to hold the position. I'll tell you, though, don't look now, but Todd Ratura is sitting on the purple lap right now so far in this race. The Concrete King of New Jersey is going to be in that pack in just a moment. Look at him. Concrete King of New Jersey's got his nose inside of Paterno right now. We are about to have a 5-car pack at the front of this field.
Yeah, I wonder. It looks like Paterno struggled a little bit there through the north section of this course, but Todd Ratura did a great job just storming right back up to the back of this pack, and now this turned from a 4-car battle to a 5-car battle very, very quickly. Let's see what they look like coming out of Montreal as we got the restoration coming through. Yeah, it looks like Paterno has been, maybe he's got an issue or something, but he's dropping back from the field quite a bit. I mean, Todd Ratura was still faster than him. He was about 8/10 faster than him in the last time around, so we'll have to see what kind of, if he can get by him quickly or if he'll get stuck behind.
So just looking back at the rest of the field, behind that front 5, which is Johnny Kaminsky, Mike Leo, Alex Blaker, Eric Paterno, and Todd Ratura, Owen Barthelms had the early off coming out of Montreal on the very first lap. He has worked his way back to 6, which is, all credit for Owen for getting that thing gathered up and back on the track. 7th place, you've got Ivan Brightly. 8th place, you got Mark Domas, followed by Raphael and Melissa in 10th. And let's see the drama here again as Mike Leo taking the tow. Mike Leo's going to push him right down into the braking zone. We're about to see something. Let's see what Mike Leo has learned. I bet you Mike Leo, let's see what he's got here. Is he going to do it the hard way? He goes outside, which is a traditional move. He's trying to get Johnny on the brakes. What do you think, Massimo?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be the same exact picture as we've seen. Johnny's going to have him cleared because I don't know if you saw him going in, but Johnny has him cleared on the brakes by a mile. He's so good with that. Yeah, he's so good with that brake pedal. And now it looks like Mike may have compromised himself going through there. And now it looks like Blaker's having a look down the inside of Hairpin. But that's the tricky part about these battles, is that you don't know. You want to try and judge your moves as carefully as you can, because maybe if Mike hadn't gone around the outside and just had stayed in line with Johnny, he wouldn't have compromised himself as much, and maybe would have had a better shot going through Cryptos up in the Hairpin.
Yeah, so what I will say is from Todd Ratura, he's doing a fantastic job of staying in the pack. It's very easy when you have 4 cars ahead of you with a full head of steam to really allow that pack to run away from you. So good job from him and hanging in there. And I'll tell you what, if he can stick it in there and just hit his marks, he's going to have a shot at it, and he might have a shot at the victory, because as we all know, and if we ever watch MX5 Cup, this race isn't over till the last lap, last corner. And back on defensive, you got Brian Kaminsky playing the defense here. Mike Leo's peeking in his mirrors and filling up his mirrors, but as we know, this is something that Johnny Kaminsky is very used to. And Alex Blaker on the outside. Let's see if he can. Oh, they're too wide, and Paterno takes a look, and a little bobble there is going to allow Eric Paterno back in the mix.
That's exactly what I was saying before, is Paterno's playing the waiting game, waiting for a mistake, and that's exactly the kind of mistake you need to capitalize on, because now Paterno has that third place position, unless... No, it looks like Blaker's going to stick it through. Look at that. Yeah, but those are the kind of mistakes you want to wait for, because that is how you capitalize, and that is how you put yourself back in the mix for the top 3.
I tell you what, race fans, I don't know about you guys, but if you can find some better, more interesting, exciting racing than this on a Friday night, I welcome you to tune in, because right now we have got a 5-car battle with 5 drivers that are serious about making this podium. You've got a kid who's the current club champion out front and a fantastic ND2 driver, followed by Mike Leo, Lego Man, Swifty Swiss, and the Concrete King. And this is going to be a race all the way down to the wire. They're on the backstretch again. Leo with that toe again, pushing Johnny down the track. Let's see if Leo can figure out something different than he did last lap to get around this pesky Kaminsky. As you watch Paterno and Blaker have been door to door. Leo has not figured it out yet, but it is still a race as we head into our mystery zone. And while we think about it for a second, oh, what could be happening back there? I don't know. Think about it, and then all of a sudden, the cars emerge. There you go. It's still Johnny Kaminsky out front.
So if you look at the lap times here, the lap times are actually very, very similar for most drivers. And what's funny is that the 3rd, 4th, and 5th place have quicker lap times than the 1st place driver. That's just because how strong that toe is, especially at this track, right? It's through really long straights. And it's very easy to kind of sit in that draft and kind of really gain positions or gain as much time as possible. Heading into Old Turn 1 here, again, 5 cars pretty much stacked. You got Todd Ratura a little bit behind, but honestly, if I'm anybody right now, Todd Ratura's in a good spot, because he's just waiting. He's waiting and waiting just for somebody to make a move or make a mistake, or like Massimo said, it doesn't take too much, and Todd's right back in this race. So if I was him, you just play the wait game and try not to let them pull away too much.
Yeah, I tell you what, if you saw the ND2 race at VIR, you would think that Ratura is pretty much on a podium position right now. These 4 drivers here are going to be dicing it up. Guys, race fans, we've got about 12 minutes left in this race. We're just past the halfway point. Johnny Kaminsky still on the pole, leading the field through Montreal as Owen Barthelms and Ivan Brightly come down the South Straight there and work their way through Montreal. Everybody heading over to Patience. The pack just remaining tight. And you've got Mark Davies and Raphael Walkowitz right there in Montreal as well. Johnny leading them through Prudence, through Patience, and Prudence up into the carousel. And he's got his hands full with Mike Leo, Blaker, and Paterno. What a race.
Yeah, so here we have Owen Barthelms. It looks like Owen Barthelms is keeping his head down. Like I said, he's trying to stay consistent and hit his marks. It was unfortunate at the beginning of the race. It looked like he wasn't able to hang on with the pack. And like I said, once that pack gets away from you, it's really hard to get them back. And here we got Mark Davies, which is somebody who's actually more familiar with the Ferrari Challenge car, which is actually something that Johnny drives. So we got 2 drivers here that are very used to Ferrari Challenge cars that are now in MX5 Cup cars. Slightly different, but similar.
I mean, I can barely tell an ND2 and a challenge car apart. They're almost like twins. Massimo, what do you think? This front pack, we're coming down to about 10 minutes to go in this race. What is it going to take to dislodge Johnny from the front?
I think it's going to take being very strong on the brakes. You got to be committed if you want to make a pass. Having kind of like a half move is not going to work, on someone who's seasoned and knows what it's like to be under pressure. So you're going to want to maybe it's finding another spot where you're quicker and trying to capitalize on that, trying to get right up in his mirrors, maybe, going onto the South Straight, something like that. But you also got to be, it's a two-way battle, because you can battle with Johnny all you want, but the more you battle, the more you slow yourself down. And now here you have Blaker and Paterno who are right back in your mirrors, and it looks like Todd Rotura has regained or shortened that gap down, and he looks like it is a 5-car battle again.
And as I was saying, Johnny didn't have the fastest lap. He now put down his fastest lap in lap 5. He put down his fastest lap at a 38.0 without a draft. So again, if he was in that draft, he would easily be in the 37s there. So it looks like Todd's back in the mix here. It looks like the 5 cars are now pretty much within a second of one another, which is incredible, because it really comes down to, like we said, one mistake, and then it really depends on who's more poised and who's got their head on right. Leo does have a run, but again, it's really difficult in Montreal to get a pass done, especially if you're on the defensive.
Yeah, Leo is driving a fantastic race. He has really improved throughout this season. I want to say it's the commentating that's really encouraged him to do better, and he has really responded to the challenge laid down by the commentator's booth. Mike Leo leaning on Johnny right now, and Blaker has been racy since the opening lap. These 5 cars, any one of these guys could be on the top step at the end of this race, but right now it is Johnny's to lose. He's holding court through Carousel as he heads down to Pine Tree. 8 minutes to go in the race.
Yeah, and I really want to say that huge shout out to Mike Leo and Todd Rotura, because these are 2 guys that literally just started racing. I mean, they didn't do this for very long, but these are 2 drivers that, got the urge quickly and instantly got hooked. And speaking of hooked, it looks like all 4 drivers here are pretty hooked up here. Paterno in the 4th car is going to get most of that drive. Looks like Todd fell back a little bit, but again, he's going to be able to reel him back on the brake zone.
Yeah, Leo right up in the chimney of Johnny Kaminsky, and Blaker trying to take that outside line. Kaminsky covers him off. Excellent on the brakes, as Massimo mentioned, and just gets up to switchback in first every time. Blaker and Leo are going to need to team up on a tow and really try to get Johnny off his mark in that braking zone.
I got to say, from someone who's been behind Johnny for an entire race in this exact same position, if you're going to try and pass him, it's not going to be into switchback unless he makes a mistake through hanger and gets, you get a huge run. You got to find another place to capitalize, because he's so good on coming out of that brake pedal and rolling enough to speed up the hill to where it's even if you have maybe half a car alongside of him, it's going to be really difficult to get him in, to pass him up into there. So you have to try and find somewhere else. In my case, it was Tom Post who helped me out.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that battle with Tom Post. That was fantastic. So we've got Blaker and Leo. Blaker, there's Leo really being aggressive on the braking, trying to close that gap with Johnny. But Johnny is just so smooth with his inputs. He's so poised under pressure. He's just not rattled. Johnny is used to being in P1, and he is used to having a bunch of killers on his bumper. And it is just not, you're not going to rattle this kid. You got to figure out something else other than shaking him up as the 4 cars go through Montreal.
Yeah, I think with Johnny's case, I think it's the amount of repetitions that he does just allows him to be consistent every single time. It looks like the 78 car, the Rafal, looks like he has an issue or he's off in the hairpin. And if that car is on track, then that could potentially mean that we have a safety car. And if we have a safety car, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a fantastic race. Stay tuned. We may have a safety car. The 78 car is pulled on the exit hairpin.
With 6 minutes left in the race, with 6 minutes to go, we might be rolling a safety car on for our, it's not a competition yellow. It's just there is the safety car rolling out. So we are expecting a full course caution here with a safety car gather up. Race fans, this is what you wanted. We got 5 minutes to go. Yeah, of course. Hey, listen, Raphael, we love you. We wish you were still on the track, but boy, boy, there's about to be a pace car in front of these guys, and that's going to be something else.
This is exactly what I was saying. If I'm Melissa, if I'm Owen, if I'm Ivan, I'm keeping my head up high because right now anything could happen. With 5 minutes to go, if they do get a green, which would probably be with maybe 2 minutes if they can get this car cleared off, that means you pretty much have a green-white checker. And if you're in 4th, 5th, or 6th place, that means that P1, 2, and 3 are equally going to want that spot and are equally going to want to go for it just as hard. So stay tuned and let's see what happens here.
You nailed it, Brian. A green-white checker situation with 4 cars going door to door into Montreal. What could go wrong with that, ladies and gentlemen? I tell you what, we're waiting. I tell you, I don't know. I've not seen the yellow yet. Track officials, we might be a little too excited. We might have jumped the gun. Track safety officials might think that Raphael is in a safe enough place. We may not get the yellow flag. Oh, wait, there it is. Full course yellow. Caution is coming out. Hey, Raphael, we love you. We wish you weren't off the track. You're our guy. But, boy, this caution is going to be exciting. 4 minutes to go in this race. It might be a one-lap shootout. It might not even be we might be a green and white together.
This facility is notorious for having those one-lap shootouts. I remember being in Member Challenge, being in the R4 class, and it was always, we're going to try and get one lap of green. That was always what was said in the driver meeting, and that was always what happened on track. And there you go. They're collected by the safety car. We are going to have probably, a minute and a half shootout for the end.
It's going to be a one lap.
It's going to be one lap, and it is going to be epic. It is going to be who has the biggest kahunas and who wants to send it the most.
I agree, but more importantly, you just have to know how to play your cards. You have to know when to be aggressive. You may not have many opportunities to do it. It's kind of like one shot, one opportunity type thing. But you just have to make smart decisions, be decisive when you're actually going to do them. Yeah.
I tell you what, we've got one of our best drivers in the ND2 cars up here in the booth, and we've got one of our best coaches. Guys, what I'm thinking about right now, this is a great time to have a coach in your ear talking to you about strategy, talking to you about car placement, talking to you about different things in different parts of the track. This is when you might want to have an MMC instructor whispering in your ear, helping you with your racecraft, helping you gather up your thoughts and getting ready for what is going to be an exciting finish. If you want to book Brian Hedian, contact Jillian Alexander at Concierge today, and he can help you in your next member race. Massimo, what would you do if you were Alex Blaker or Mike Leo?
If I was Mike Leo, it would be try and get as big of a run I can on Johnny, or just try and push ourselves away to where I can make one big move. That way, if I make a move and I get compromised, I don't have Alex Blaker sitting there waiting to capitalize. If I'm Alex Blaker, I'm waiting for Mike Leo to make that big move, and I'm waiting to capitalize. If I'm Eric Paterno, I'm doing the same thing. There's been plenty of race scenarios that I've been in where it has come down to someone making a move on the last lap, someone pushing the other person wide, opening up a door, and you take that lane, and you just it's the greatest feeling in the world is watching the two people in front of you move themselves out of the way for you and you not having to do any of the work.
You know, speaking of looking at these guys, you look at Johnny Kaminsky out here. Brian mentioned earlier in the broadcast that you've got guys like Mike Leo and Todd Bertura who are so new to racing and doing so well. But you got a kid like Johnny Kaminsky who started in karts here at Monticello. Brian, how do you feel about the karting program that Mike Poe's running up there and the kind of product he's turning out with these kids that he's coaching up in the karting up there? Do you think, would you send your kid to the karting facility at Monticello?
I mean, that's not even a question. And everybody that knows me knows that I live at that kart track. No, Mike Poe is doing a fantastic job. I mean, he just runs such a good show. He knows how to deal with the kids. He knows how to work with so many different people, and so much knowledge there, and getting the karts as ready as they can be. You know what I mean? So overall, I think that it's a fantastic program. I think it's something to really look into in the future because honestly, the kids are the future of the sport. And for me, and that's why I love the karting program, moving into the teen camp program. All the way up into racing. You know, Johnny and Massimo are both drivers that came up through the same ranks.
trying to figure out here. I think we're down to like 23 seconds on the race. I think it's going to be 1 lap to go this time by. 1 lap to go this time by. We're going to finish this race under green. As the cars come around, old turn number 1. The clock is out. We're going to have 1 lap for all the marbles. This is what they pay the big money for. This is what the crowds turn out for. I tell you, meanwhile, by the way, let me just mention the Barthelm's merch table is on fire right now. The Jinx trucker hacks are flying off the shelf. But the lights are out on the pace car. Johnny's leading them around, heading onto the South Straight. Ricky Doughton in that Supra pace car is just about to dive in as Morgan gets ready to hold up the 1 lap to go. Along with the green, we have got 1 lap to go. It's a single file restart. Leo dragging a little break. Blaker, Paterno, as we get ready for green. There's Morgan with the 1 lap to go sign, and there's your green flag, and we are about to find out who's got what. Blaker with his turn signal on gets his nose inside of Leo, but can't make the pass stick.
And out of Montreal, looks like Todd Roturo is going to have a run on Paterno. Made a mistake. Maybe he missed a gear. Maybe he missed a downshift. But Alex Blaker's still all over the back bumper of Mike Leo, and Johnny looks like he handled that to perfection. Just scampered away, got away from the chaos, exactly what you want to do in that position.
What I would say right now, Mike Leo and Blake gotta get on the same page and push each other, because if they don't do that, they will not get on that top step. It looks like Johnny got a great start. He kept his head in the game, and this is all about repetition. He's done this a million times in the sim. He's done it in real time. He's done it in real life. You know, he's just a driver that understands pressure and loves pressure.
He's the youngest driver on the track and also probably has the most experience in these cars at the same time. It's crazy, but that's what it takes. Seat time is the key. As we turn onto the main straight, this is the time for Blaker and Leo to get it figured out. They got 1 more shot at this thing as we head down the main straight and up into switchback. We've got just a few turns left in this race, right past the North Connector into the kink.
Yeah, it looks like Owen and Ivan Bradley there are looking to work with each other, but they do have a shot. If the top 4 guys end up having a little bit of a battle, we have ourselves a fantastic race. So as we're coming through switchback, let's see exactly what happened. It's that moment of suspense. And with no surprise here, we've got Johnny up front, Mike Leo holding P2, and Alex Blaker in 3rd. What I will say is Eric Paterno, I don't know exactly what happened coming out of Montreal on the opening on the last lap there, but it looks like he may have lost the rear or something like that. But yeah, it was.
It's like, so coming through Montreal, in the middle of that, you do a downshift in the first gear, and it looks like he just missed that downshift. Maybe he didn't push on the gear selector hard enough, but it looked like he was super bogged down coming out of that corner, and Todd Roturo drove right by him like he was like Todd was in a GT4 car. But as Johnny comes out of Old Turn 1, he's got a pretty substantial gap going into that corner. Alex Blaker, not much he could do there, and it looks like Johnny's going to walk away with this one for the first race of the afternoon, unless maybe Alex Blaker can get a run on Mike Leo, but it looks like Mike Leo's going to secure P2, and this looks like it's going to be your finishing order here, folks.
Yeah, Johnny's leading down to the line. Morgan's got the checker in hand. Kaminsky across the line with Mike Leo in 2nd, Blaker in 3rd, Ratura in 4th, Paterno in 5th, and Owen Barthelm's bringing it home in 6th, followed by Ivan Brightly, Mark Davies, and Melissa Barthelm's in 9th. It's been a fantastic race. I'm telling you, race fans, if you watch that race and you are not sticking around for race 2, you're not watching the race we watched. It won't be but about 40 minutes before we kick off race number 2. So stay tuned, race fans. We'd love to have you back for our 2nd race. This one is in the books with Johnny Kaminsky on the top step, but the racing is not done from the world's premier automotive country club, Monticello Motor Club. Stay tuned for race number 2. All right, race fans, we're rolling off. It's race number 2. I'm telling you, race fans, on your feet for this start. Race number 1 was fantastic. Me and Brian and Massimo are up here in the broadcast booth. Massimo doesn't even have any fingernails left. He was so nervous. He's like chewing off his fingernails up here. We're all on the edge of our seat. Fantastic race that left Johnny Kaminsky on the top step. We're greeted up for race number 2 with Eric Paterno on the pole, Alex Blaker outside front row, Mike Leo inside second row. And I don't even know, I'm waiting for it. It should be Todd Ratura is outside second row, followed by Johnny Kaminsky on the third row. Massimo, that first race, that caution, that last lap shootout, how exciting was that race, and what do you expect out of this second race?
That was one of the most exciting things I've seen here. You know, obviously I'm usually in the excitement, but coming from the outside, it was super fun to watch. But definitely for this race, after speaking with Johnny after last race, he was surprised. I will tell you, he didn't realize how much he had to work for that win. You know, he thought 100% he was going to break the draft, and every time he looked behind him, he still had the squadron of Mike Leo, Alex Blaker, and Eric Paterno who were sticking with him, and even Todd Ratura. So he's definitely got his work cut out for him for this race, but it's all going to come down to of who's going to work together the best to pull away. Is Alex Blaker going to work with Eric Paterno? Is Mike Leo going to work with those two? Are they going to pull away? Are they going to spend the whole time battling and allow Todd Ratura and Johnny to get some opportunities to come through the field? It's all going to be about if Johnny can capitalize. But Johnny also has to be mindful. Even though they weren't exactly in the race last race, he still has race cars behind him who are going to look for every opportunity, because that is what happens when you're racing. You look for whatever opportunity to try and get ahead of them. So everyone has their work cut out for them. I think this is going to be an even more exciting race than last time.
Also joining me at booth, lead instructor and all-around good guy and father of Frankie the Dotson is Brian Hedian. Brian, what are you looking for out of this race with Paterno on the pole, just like he was in the last race, Blaker and Leo behind him? Do you think Paterno will have a better plan for race 2 to hang on to that top step?
Yeah, surely. I think Paterno didn't have the greatest of starts. I think he put the car where he needed to. He may have missed a shift. We don't know yet. But overall, I think that the strategy is, and what we learned from race 1 is that you have to know how to work with each other. You have to know how to be poised. You have to know when to be aggressive and when to control your aggression. And controlling your emotions is really important, because as we know, in the beginning of the race, everything's going to stack up. Things are going to get a little bit wild. But once everything starts settling in, you can get back into the rhythm of the stuff that you taught by your coach, or all the repetitions. So it's important that everybody kind of keeps a clear head. And I will say they kept it pretty clean, because there's a lot of times where there were instances where I thought that there was going to be some contact, and I'll tell you what, they kept it really clean, and they kept their poise. So I'm really excited for race 2, and again, the suspense is building up.
Speaking of suspense, the car's going up into the switchback for that trademark Monticello moment of suspense. Brought to you by Paul Quealy. And right now, while we're waiting, we have a 10-second sale on gloves. 20% off gloves in the pro shop for the next 10 seconds. Ready, go. Now, Ricky Doughton leads that super pace car into the hangar. into the hairpin as Paterno starts to think about stacking up the field. We are -2 competitors for this race. Melissa Barthelms and Raphael did not make the grid, so we're only an 8-car field. As you see, Blaker, we're back to this traditional. If you've been following the ND2 racing here at Monticello all season, it has been the Blaker and Paterno show, and now we've got another one-row shootout. A first-row shootout between Blaker and Paterno.
It looks like there's a little confusion here on how we're gridding this race. So it looks like, I think potentially Johnny should be in 5th place. I believe
Johnny is in 4th, and that's missing Todd Ventura.
And it looks like we have a little bit of confusion, but again, it's not gonna. Once we get that race started, we'll see if all that kind of gets ignored.
Yeah, Johnny has. It looks like he's misgridding himself here. I don't know if this is going to result in a failed start or not, but Ricky Doughton's got the lights off on the pace car. We're approaching the bridge. Johnny looks, this is not exactly the way the start should be. Johnny should be up there. He's dragging a little brake, getting a little heat in the tires, waiting for Morgan to give us the green. We'll see what the steward says. There's the green, and Morgan, look at Todd Ratura dive to the inside and get a good jump on Mike Leo as he's sandwiched between Johnny Kaminsky. Todd Ratura looking very racy, moving up to 3rd. Excellent move by Todd Ratura. He got the run off of Montreal and picks up 2 spaces in the first turn.
That was very well managed by Todd Ratura. It always gets a little bit dicey being the outside car as you wind up pinching the middle car. A little bit of contact, but managed it well. Johnny and Todd Ratura walk away from that unscathed. Mike Leo loses a few places, but looks like he will remain racy through the rest of this session. Now, I got to say, after speaking to all the drivers after the first race, I loved the mentality that they have. It wasn't how can I go faster, it's how can I be more strategic, how can I be smarter with where I place my car, and how can I be smarter when playing with others. It was a lot of who can I work with, where do I put myself, when do I make an overtake, and I like that kind of mentality coming from these drivers who are trying to be as smart as they can.
Speaking of smart, it looks like Mike Leo is about to get connected with Brian, which is going to, in theory, get them ahead. But let's see if they can actually clear Alex Blaker here. It looks like Leo's connected. Todd Ratura checks up behind and follows single file. That is a very high IQ move. Todd Ratura knows exactly what he's doing in this moment. So it looks like we're going too wide into switchback, but as we all know, that doesn't always work out. So it's a bold move.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Stay tuned for that trademark Monticello moment of suspense as the cars come out of the switchback, headed up to Kryptos, and it's still Paterno holding court in P1. Little dirt there. Look at that. Johnny Kaminsky getting the move. Oh, man, we've got a race here. Ratura drops a spot. Oh, man, this...
Ratura's the kind of guy that wants to put you too wide through Kryptos and is unforgiving about it because the space is there. I love to see it. I love the aggression. Everybody got out of there unscathed. It looks like Brian takes a peek, but it looks like he's just kind of filling up his mirrors and using that high IQ to make a move here.
I'll tell you, Johnny has got the car here, though. Johnny's showing the nose all over Alex Blaker here, and Blaker under pressure from the junior Kaminsky as he goes into the South Straight. Eric Paterno up front, but Blaker under pressure.
Johnny is definitely being as smart as he can. He's playing to his advantage in that he got around Mike Leo, he got around Todd Ratura, and he's placed himself right where he wants to be, right behind Alex Blaker, right behind Eric Paterno, because he knows that he can get into their heads and he knows that he's faster, and all he has to do is just force a mistake. And now Mike Leo is going to be smart, and he's going to use Johnny Kaminsky almost as a battering ram, just to push right past these two, because both of them have the pace to get up to the front of this field. So let's see what Johnny can do behind Alex Blaker here as he still fills his mirrors, trying to get in his head, trying to force him into an error. He's going to have to play a little bit of the waiting game as we go through this, the South Course into the carousel. But let's see what kind of run he gets down the back straight. As Todd Ratura looking to hang on as everyone kind of falls into position behind the top four.
Yeah, honestly, Brian and I were just talking about here in the booth. Johnny doesn't really need to pass Blaker at this point right now. These guys are running along with a 25-minute mentality. Leo and Kaminsky know what they've got. Blaker and Paterno know what they need to do. And look at this run onto the back straight. This is going to be something. Leo up in Kaminsky. As Massimo just said, you can bet Leo is going to try to push Kaminsky right through to the front and follow him all the way.
And this is why we love MX5 Cup, because of this exact moment right here, because they're so well in the draft and it's so easy to have a good battle here. So it looks like, again, we got Alex Blaker potentially going on the outside, but tucks back in, too wide for Kaminsky, and let's see exactly how this falls off.
Into that trademark moment of suspense, Monticello, brought to you by the Pro Shop and also Kart Camp. As they come out of the switchback, we're going to see who's on the pole. It's still Eric Paterno out front, followed by Blaker, and also then Johnny Kaminsky and Mike Leo. These cars are so close you could throw a blanket over them, and they're going to stay like that for, I bet, quite a minute. We've got 20 minutes left. 5 minutes into the race, 20 minutes left to go. Eric Paterno sitting on the purple lap, but can he hang on for 20 more minutes? As you see from that drone shot passing that world-class karting facility, the cars go through old turn number 1. Paterno still leading them down into the S's. Kaminsky tucked right up behind Blaker, and Mike Leo right there looking to close the gap as well as we turn onto the South Straight. What do these guys need to do, Massimo, to get Paterno fully reeled in and not just catch him, but pass him?
I think for now, just staying in the window is going to be key. Just kind of, it's all about putting your head down. As Brian likes to say, just put your head down, knock the laps through, stay consistent. You want to wait for someone to make a mistake. And if, whether that'll be, because I did talk to Paterno, he did miss that upshift, and that's what cost him 4th place. So you want to wait for an opportunity like that to make a move. But I gotta say, my smile can't be wiped from my face right now. I am having so much fun watching this. It's like opening presents on Christmas Day. You don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know who is gonna come out in front.
And pretty impressive for Eric Paterno here. He is not in a draft, and he currently has the fastest lap of the race. He has the fastest lap of the race, and he's ahead. So if I'm Eric Paterno, I just keep doing what you got to do. Focus on hitting your marks, and honestly, you don't have to really race if you could just check away. If you could just check out, then you're just kind of focusing on your own line and what you're doing. It's going to be interesting here because obviously tire wear and tire deg is going to come into play at the end of the race. It could be a safety car. So again, for all those drivers in 5th, 6th, and 7th and 8th, there's still a shot at it. You just have to keep your head down, focus on putting your laps in, and see how this unfolds.
Yeah, this backstretch is where the magic happens. They come off that right-hand turn there onto the hanger straight, and this is where the magic happens. Kaminsky right up in, pushing Blaker. As Blaker goes to the outside, we're going to see something here. Look at this new drone angle we've got. We're going to see this braking zone unfold. Paterno has the best angle, and Kaminsky slices through and boxes Blaker out, and Kaminsky picks up the position. That, my friends, is excellent racecraft out of Kaminsky.
So from my sound engineer, we're calling that area the mystery zone. So this is not what we've given. This is the name we have given that corner. It is the mystery zone because you don't know what's going to happen in the middle and on the way out. But I will say it's some dicey racing up here, and Todd's got to put his head down. Listen, you got Owen Barthelms and Ivan Bradley in their own battle. Mark Davies in the back there, just trying to get used to the car, getting acclimated with a car that he has not really driven in a long time. So again, it's just a matter of getting acclimated as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, it's in real time, so it's always good to get out here, get a little bit of practice. But speaking of practice, it looks like Eric Paterno did his work in practice because he's looking pretty good here. He's got a pretty good gap, and it looks like as long as he hits his marks, he's going to be in good shape.
I got to tell you, though, Brian, I still think the smart money is on Johnny. I mean, you see this kid. He's running with a 25-minute mentality. Johnny puts 2 wheels big. He hangs on to it, but that really compromised his exit speed, and now he's under attack from Alex Blaker. Really, as I'm giving the commentator's curse, I'm giving Johnny all the praise, and I swear he puts 2 wheels off and almost loses the position to Blaker. But I still think Kaminsky's got the head, he's got the poise, and he's got the patience to work Paterno down. But right now, Paterno is just gapping the field because of that mistake by Kaminsky. This let it's really let Paterno open up a gap here with 16 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, no, it looks like at this point that if I'm Alex Blaker and if I'm Mike Leo, I would work with Johnny and try to get back to Eric Paterno, because I'd rather race for first place than battle it off for second, third, or fourth. So I think it's important right now for Alex Blaker and Mike Leo to kind of work with one another, so this way they can catch up to the pack.
Yeah, and then through carousel, Blaker just had a bit of a moment there, which allowed Mike Leo to close that gap and open that gap, give Johnny some breathing room. But you can tell that Johnny is definitely feeling how hard he has to work for these overtakes. This is not varsity racing anymore, where you can just check out. So, but it was a great overtake down to the back stretch. Pretty textbook, just staying behind, because once you get on the outside going into switchback, it is always super hard to hold that position, because that outside line quickly turns into the inside. And you lose out. But for sure, it'll be interesting to see how Johnny, if Johnny can keep his head down, try and reel in Paterno, and then the last 10 minutes of this race will be very, very exciting.
Into the trademark mystery zone. You should not lose the sight of the fact, race fans, that Eric Paterno continues to turn purple laps. He's turning the fastest laps on the track while not getting any benefit from a toe or aerodynamic effects on the backstretch. That is really difficult, which means Paterno has the pace to stay out front. Kaminsky is going to have to put in all the effort to get around him, but hey, Kaminsky is the kid to do it if anybody can. Kaminsky just painting the bumper there. Paterno needs to remain poised under this pressure from Kaminsky.
I think having Kaminsky here and in this race, one, it's exciting because you get to see somebody that's such a bright future in racing and in motorsports. But more importantly, for Eric Paterno and the rest of the drivers, it really comes down to it just shows to where level they're at. And as you can see right now, Johnny Kaminsky filling up his mirrors and Eric Paterno just staying poised and really sticking it. He's doing a really good job there.
Yeah, I tell you, we've got a race here with 14 minutes to go. We have got a fantastic race shaping up. Paterno's going to have to stay poised because that Kaminsky kid is pretty good at this automobile racing thing. 14 minutes to go, and it's anybody's race. Eric Paterno on front at P1. Johnny Kaminsky in second. Blaker in third. Mike Leo in fourth. Todd Bertur in fifth. Owen Barthelms in sixth. Ivan Brightly in seventh. And Mark Davies of Ferrari Challenge fame running back there in eighth. Now watch Kaminsky follow Paterno through the carousel, and then there's Blaker and Leo. Leo has dropped off the pace a little bit, which is going to kind of hurt Blaker, I think. What is it going to take for Roturo and Leo to get back in this thing?
I think that Roturo and Leo just kind of have to put their heads back down, keep, grind those laps, pump those laps out. But definitely would help if Roturo can catch up to Leo, give him a bit of a draft. But I don't know if that would take for Roturo to go faster, or if Mike just drops all the way back down to Roturo. I think they're going to kind of drop out of this race. But Johnny did turn the purple lap last lap, and now he's got one hell of a run coming down into switchback. Johnny is reeling in Paterno. It's only a matter of time at this point until, watch as he sets up Paterno. And now he's going to go inside. Oh, no, he doesn't get it. Good defense from Paterno, keeping a level head. But, Johnny's definitely, it's just a matter of time until Johnny can get this move pulled off.
Oh, there it is in the mystery zone. He made it work, but now we're going too wide going into Cryptos. And as you know, this is a bold move. And we got too wide through Cryptos. Paterno on the inside has the track position, but let's see if he can get him on the braking. At this point, Alex Blaker, his eyes are wide open because he knows he's going to get a good exit here. We got Johnny Kaminsky just behind Paterno, and Paterno with the positioning and has a better exit. But I will say that mystery zone, man, that is a special spot in the track.
They don't call it the mystery zone for nothing. Anything can happen when you head from the braking zone through switchback. Kaminsky still in second, but he is giving us the racing excitement. This is why they pay the big money for the tickets. The clubhouse fans are on their feet. It is standing room only. The crowd is cheering. Johnny's merchandise trailer is just crushing it right now. The Johnny Kaminsky muscle shirt is flying off the shelf. And now we watch Paterno lead him under the bridge with only 11 minutes to go in this race.
So I love that we have Massimo here, because tell me, Massimo, you know the feeling when it's coming down to the wire and you've got that car, Johnny Kaminsky, behind you. That is not a comfortable feeling.
I mean, look at it now. He's inside. It is not comfortable. It's frightening. Yeah, it's trouble. Here we go. So let's see if Paterno can hang it around the outside. No, he cannot. That is the end, I think, of Paterno's story, unless he gets a run down the back straight. But I think that's all she wrote for Paterno in this race. There's not much more you can do.
Take it from a guy who has raced head-to-head with Kaminsky. Massimo just pronounced it the end of the race. He's like, that's a wrap for Paterno. Oh, man, listen, it's not over yet. 11 minutes to go. You can bet Paterno is going to keep fighting. If Blaker can get up there and give him a push, these two guys, these two senior drivers are going to be able to give that junior Kaminsky a run for his money. Let's see if these guys can put something together and challenge that neon and black ND2 down the straightaway.
Now, the best thing for Paterno to do is to stay behind Johnny, because it is, even though Johnny is able to keep a level head, even though it's easy to keep a level head, you know, you got to force him into an error. And by filling up his mirrors, it's easy to get into a driver's head, because, you know, you got a lot to think about at once. And now you look in the mirror, and now Paterno's back in my mirrors. You know, and then you can miss your braking zone, you can miss a marker, you can miss your throttle application, you can miss, you know, your turn in. So you got to just stay on it. You got to keep your level head. You can't when he overtakes you can't let it bother you. You got to just stay with it. And Paterno is doing a very good job of staying with him. So maybe his story's got a little bit more. Maybe the ink and quill hasn't been put out yet.
Did you just say ink and quill? Wow. Massimo with the Ben Franklin reference, referencing the founding fathers. He's writing over here with a turkey feather or something. But Paterno is maintaining contact with Johnny, which is, listen, the first step to passing Johnny is just staying with him, right? You got to be in position. If Johnny makes a mistake, we've seen Johnny put two wheels off on the outside of the last corner before the South Straight. It is possible. The kid is not just a driving robot. He could make a mistake, and Paterno needs to maintain the pressure. Blaker coming up a little bit closer now. That 1-2 punch of Paterno and Blaker might have just enough horsepower and tow to give Johnny something to think about on the long straights here. We're going to find out with about 9 minutes to go in the race. Paterno showing him the nose on the inside, but Johnny covers him off and leads him through Montreal.
I think this actually is exactly what Blaker wants. I think that he needs Eric Paterno to pressure Johnny. He needs him to get him off his line, because if both of these drivers start driving away, I will say just based off of lap time, it's going to be very difficult. And speaking of lap time, the best lap of the race just came in from Mike Leo without a draft. Mike Leo with a 2:37.7, bringing him back. And again, I was talking about Blaker, but at the same time, Mike Leo, if he can just keep his stuff together, put in those laps, and continue to put purple seconds in, it might be an exciting race.
Hey, listen, one thing you can say about Mike Leo, he is not going to quit. That kid is going to keep grinding for the full 25 minutes. He never lets up. He never hangs his head. He just puts his head down and turns purple laps without the tow. What a great job by Mike Leo.
Now, I got to say, as we were referencing with Blaker, I've been in his position before with Johnny and with his older brother Brian, where they are battling it out. They have been, you know, where they were neck and neck, and then they've either pushed each other off or they've both made a mistake, and that was easy for me to capitalize on that. So if Blaker can capitalize on maybe Paterno putting pressure on Johnny, but it looks like Johnny opened up that gap as much as he could on the back straight. And now we go into our trademark mystery zone. We'll see how much distance Johnny has between Paterno and Blaker, but spoiler, I bet you it's going to be a lot, because he is mighty through the switchback. No, my God, it's not. See,
Anything can happen in the mystery zone. As Eric Paterno closes up, you don't even know what's happening in the mystery zone. It just happens, and then you get to see it here live. Paterno gets a nose inside of Johnny, and all of a sudden, we have got a race. Johnny under extreme pressure as Swifty Swiss shows in the nose on the outside and is going to dive to the inside to try to put pressure through old turn number 1. The track falls away there, big off-camber turn, and Paterno's got the line here to cause some havoc for Johnny as we head into the S's.
Yeah, great job from both those drivers behind. They really kept their kept our heads down and really put in some good laps. As you can see here, looks like Paterno's in a great position, but more importantly, Alex Blaker is also in a very good position because like we saw earlier, if P1 and P2 start battling too much, you'll see Alex Blaker sneak his way in as he's done all season.
Also, just shout out to the Monticello media crew for these fantastic images. Dom and Chris Szczypala and Ray Bunora just really putting in the work and getting it done for our club members. If you're sitting at home watching this in 4K on YouTube, you need to send a shout out to Chris and Dom and Ray because they are doing work here in the production booth. These fantastic images are what provide us with the great racing. Just framing up the American flag there. Nothing but hashtag America as Johnny leads them through the carousel. Paterno and Blake are trying to gather up an assault to mount a challenge to that young Kaminsky kid on the front row. Massimo, we've got 5 minutes left, about maybe 3 laps, maybe only 2 laps left in this race. Are they going to be able to get it done, or is it the 22 car bringing it home?
If I am Alex Blaker, I am hoping that Eric Paterno starts ripping parts out of his car to get lighter, to try and get some speed so that he can get up to Johnny. But now it looks like he's going to try and mount an attack on Eric Paterno, or maybe they're going to start drafting and maybe they're going to push each other to try and get back up to Johnny because Blaker needs at one of them. They need each other to start mounting an attack on Johnny. Putting pressure on Johnny is their key to try and take this win back. Johnny goes defensive. Paterno deep on the brakes, can't get it done, but they are still in a good position. No one was too wide there. They both can kind of, fall back in line and figure it out. Now the trademark mystery zone. Who knows? Maybe Leo will have flown by them. We won't know. We see the flashes of them through the trees. Paterno's now got a run coming through Cryptos. He's getting closer. Not close enough, but he might have another run up this North Straight as Johnny goes a little bit defensive, compromising his line a bit out of this hairpin corner. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, Blaker put in the work on that last straightaway to really push Paterno into a better position. Really great 1-2 punch there out of Paterno and Blaker. And they're going to have a good position here. And there is time left in this race for something to happen. These two guys are putting together a plan, but Johnny's got his own plan, and he is very poised and very professional. His racecraft is peerless. So it's going to take something special out of this Swifty Swiss to get around that black Kaminsky car.
And also a little bit further back, big kudos to Ivan Brightly. He's been putting in some pretty good laps, getting himself a little bit more in the mix with a 2-minute 40. Super happy to see that. But up front here, it looks like Paterno putting it too wide going through Montreal. And Johnny Kaminsky's there, and I don't know if there's any contact. Looks like there's a little bit of contact. And Blaker takes the inside. And Leo with a run there. It looks like there might be some damage. It looks like there's a little bit of tire smoke, but it's hard to see. I don't know if there was a mistake, but Alex Blaker takes the lead of the race. He is now the leader of the race with Mike Leo breathing down all three of their neck. This is absolutely incredible. I'd love to see the replay of that.
Telling you, they took it down in Montreal, and Paterno just got extra racy, deep on the brakes, and got up inside of the door there of Kaminsky, and it was a lot of beating and banging as Kaminsky rooted him out, but the process let Blaker sneak through. As we've been saying in the booth, Blaker in position to take advantage of any bobble out of Paterno and Kaminsky.
And big shout out to Mike Leo. He's turning it up. He still has that purple lap. He's about 2/10 faster, 1 to 2/10 faster of the four of them. Now, can Johnny make this run work? It looks like he's got that inside early, which is key for this back straight. And now all he needs is Mike Leo, who's going to poke through. There goes Paterno around the outside. And Mike Leo going around the outside, trying to use Paterno to punch a hole. But now Blaker has that more advantageous position going into the brakes. Contact as we go into the braking zone. Paterno going deep, Johnny outbrakes, rolls that speed, reclaims that first place, and now contact between Blaker and Mike Leo as we go over those switchback curbing. They're still with each other, but now...
Listen, also, if you didn't know, the mystery zone is a mystery no more. Thanks to Chris Szczypala, the drone putting in work. We have got every single inch of this track. The drone is doing the job here. But I tell you, Blaker goes from the lead back to fourth. And Blaker with a big bobble oversteer slide. He gathers it up, but that is not going to help his exit speed as Blaker continues to fall further behind.
Yeah, it looks like Blaker may have put a fender on Mike Leo there. So it's important right now for the two drivers behind. You can't get too caught up in your own little race. If you want to try to get to the front, it's important that you get to Paterno right away, because if I'm Johnny Kaminsky, I am trying my best to get away from this pack. And it looks like we're pretty much all evenly spread out here. It really comes down to who gets a better exit and who can capitalize here. White flag this time by, so it's going to be the last lap. Mike Leo putting 2 off in the dirt, but stays in it and keeps it on the track.
Our capable flagman, Morgan, up in the starter stand, showing the 1 to go. White flag in hand, 1 to go. This race is going to be over in about 2.5 minutes. And I'll tell you, for all the positioning and all the rooting and the banging, at the end of the day, it's still Johnny Kaminsky out front. Massimo, as you said about 11 minutes ago, it is going to be tough to dislodge Johnny from that top step.
It's very cool to watch someone who is so composed. You see him come into contact, fall behind, and it's like trying to slap a statue. You can't change their face. You can't knock him. You just can't stop him. He will keep putting down the same lap. He could be on fire putting down the same laps. You know, it's really, really cool to watch someone who has this kind of composure. And it was really cool to see how it went from how the top 4 got jumbled completely out of mix, and then were the exact same as we started 2 laps ago. It's just very cool.
Also, race fans, if you're at home watching this race, don't lose sight of the fact that Massimo Risi, inside this one race, has mentioned quill and ink, and then he just said it's like trying to slap a statue. Massimo Risi just throwing down golden lines. You don't get this kind of commentary from any other club racing commentary. This is the Monticello Motor Club, the world's premier automotive country club. We've got 1 lap to go as Johnny leads them up to Kryptos. Paterno in second, Leo in third, and Blaker in fourth. We've got Todd Ratura in fifth, Owen Barthelms in sixth, Ivan Brightly and Mark Davies rounding out 7 and 8. As they head up the North Straight and around Old Turn 1, they've only got about 3 turns left to kick the kid off the top step, his ancestral home. He has the high downforce hair. You know him. You love him. It's Johnny Kaminsky coming off the bench for his first ND2 race of the year and shining in race 1 and race 2 as he comes around and heads into the S's looking for the checkers this time by. Mike Leo, however, not satisfied with third, showing Paterno the nose and feeling racy, but Leo doesn't get the position he wants on the curb. That's going to cost him, and this race is going to wrap as Johnny leads them under the bridge as Morgan's got the checker flag in hand. Johnny with the defensive line, and he's across the line in first. Eric Paterno in second, Mike Leo in third, and Alex Blaker crossing the line in fourth. What a race, fellas.
What an effort from the top 4 drivers. That was really awesome, and I like how Johnny, maybe it wasn't intentional, but dips a wheel in the grass, throws a little bit of dirt, shows everyone what's up. Just coming in. His first session today was qualifying, and he absolutely owned it. Good race from everyone.
Guys, this is a race. We appreciate you watching. We can't wait to see you out at your club, the Monticello Motor Club. Members, come on out. We've got more racing excitement. The weather is fantastic. Look at that drone shot. Where would you rather be than on the track in the Catskills at Monticello Motor Club? Can't wait to see you here. Come on out. We'll see you soon.